listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
Hello, you're listening to Animal Party on Pet Life Radio. I hope you have your party shoes on. I hope you brought your social dogs. You know, the ones you can leave outside the grocery store, the ones you can take anywhere, the ones you can even bring in your purse to parties. Yeah, those dogs. Are those Pitbulls? Well, some of them are, aren't they? I don't know. Maybe you think that Pitbulls should be muzzled or forbidden or outlawed. Or maybe you think that there's a lot of stereotyping going on and Pitbulls have had a rough deal. We're going to find out about that. We're going to talk all about it because lately there's been some issues here in Canada. And I'll talk about that with Dr. Stanley Coren, professor of psychology and author of Intelligence of Dogs and many, many other books about dogs and other matters. And so we've got Dr. Stanley Coren on the show. Welcome to the show.
Hi there, Deb.
Welcome to the party. Did you bring a pit bull?
No, I like kissy-faced dogs.
You like kissy-faced dogs. Well, I'm sure you know, I don't know if all my listeners know, in Montreal there was a proposal of a breed ban. It almost went through. Then the SPCA appealed it. There's an injunction. Pit bulls may be illegal in Montreal. We don't know yet. They have been illegal in lots of cities, including Toronto, and sometimes in Vancouver. They talk about that, especially lately, because there were 3 different incidents with elderly couples being attacked in Surrey, a large suburb of Vancouver, British Columbia, where I live. And now everybody's up in arms and wondering, you know, is it the breed? Will life be safer if we outlaw them? And so I want to ask you, because you're the psychology guy, is there something wrong with this breed?
Well, I mean, there are 2 issues here, okay? The first thing is the behavior of the dogs. And the second thing is the effectiveness of these breed-specific bans. Let's deal with the issue of whether or not there's something special about pit bulls.
Okay, like the lockjaw, or you know that they're somehow fiercer, tougher, stronger, more determined, more unstoppable than anybody else. Is that true?
Well, you have to understand that pit bulls had a function, and their function was for dog fights and to be in the pit with bulls or bears or that sort of thing. And they were designed to be very, very strong and aggressive dogs. And when the various pit sports were banned, what sprung up in their place was dogfighting. Now, dogfighting was for a long time quite legal, and in fact, up until the early 1930s, there used to be columns on the sports section of many newspapers reporting the latest results from the various dogfights. The dogs which were...
man, I didn't know that. And I bet in some countries that still goes on. It's still legal.
Oh, yes. It's still legal in a large number of countries. Many of the Asian countries, Japan, China, Korea, Vietnam, that sort of thing.
Japan,
yes.
The place where they pamper the dogs the most, I think, in the known world? Really?
Yes,
wow, what a strange situation.
Well, they have dogs which are specially bred for this purpose. They're called Tasa Apsus. And the dogs which win these fights are actually given titles and honors very much like the sumo wrestlers. But the important thing here is that these dog fights, although they are now illegal in all of the states in the U.S. and in all of the provinces in Canada, they still go on. I'll give you a staggering statistic. A staggering statistic is that in the U.S. alone, 40,000 people earn their main part of their living from dogfights. So we're talking about a big industry here. It's a betting industry. It's controlled by the guys you don't like, you know, the bikers and the people who move drugs and guns and that sort of thing. And at dog fights, a huge amount of money can exchange hands. Now, the trick here is that these people want very vicious dogs. They want dogs which, and the key word here is if you're searching the web, especially the dark web, is the term game-bred dogs. And game-bred dogs are bred for fighting. And
that's such a little disguise. I would have thought that was hunting game. That's a little trick right there.
That's right.
Wow.
But the game which is being used here is the game of dogfighting. And they use a hard genetic selection technique. That means to say you breed dogs who have won dog fights with other dogs who have won dog fights. So you are breeding for these highly aggressive techniques. I was involved in a bit of a sting operation conducted by the Michigan Humane Society, 15 years ago or something like that. And I got to meet some of these, the people who were breeding these dogs. And one of them told me that these dogs are bred to be so aggressive that the puppies have to be taken away from the bitch when they are about 5 weeks of age, or she'll kill them. I mean,
oh my God, that's terrible. Because I breed dogs. I know, oh my gosh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Because I will, for example, not breed anybody who's car sick. Or, I mean, has prone to hot spots. I mean, little things like that. Because you just don't want even one parent having a trait like that. And the nastiness. Oh my gosh, for a mom to turn on her own pups like that, that's just off the scale for her to consider them rivals at 5 weeks when they're not even weaned yet. Oh my goodness. Okay, but the thing I've always wondered is when they make a ban. First, before I even talk about the breed ban, this group of pitbulls that are being bred for these intense fighting traits, that's not like the random dog who comes to Camp Good Dog that's maybe 3/4 pitbull, 1/4 lab.
No.
He's not the same guy, is he?
No, and you can tell if you're searching the web for kennels who breed game-bred dogs, you'll find kennel names, and I'm not lying over here. They'll have Armageddon kennels, Hard Bite kennels, No Mercy
Gladiator.
kennels.
I've seen Gladiator dogs. Like, what is that?
That's right. So those are not the kennels you want to get your family dog from. On the other hand, there are lines of pit bulls which, don't have the game breeding in the line. And, they'll come out from things like Heather kennels or Marigold kennels. Those dogs can be the pit bulls that we used to have, okay? It used to be the case that pit bulls were considered to be good family dogs. Do you remember the Little Rascals?
Oh, yeah, totally. The dog with the line around his eye, the bullseye.
That's right. That was an American Pit Bull Terrier. That was Petey, okay? And it was considered to be the perfect family dog. And, in fact, the mascot for the U.S. Navy in World War I was a pit bull. And
when I meet people from South Africa or England, they often have smaller, shorter pitties that they call Staffies. And sometimes they're almost the same size. Sometimes they're way smaller. But they don't seem to be at all aggressive.
Well, the Staffies, again, there are some Staffies which are being game bred, and those dogs are, in fact, going to be sort of not your friendly family dog. But the other dogs, the ones, if you can keep a line free of any of the game breeding, then you can have that sort of, family type dog. The big problem is the leakage. There are some breeders who, think they're breeding, family type pit bulls, and they see a male who happens to be, particularly well built and that sort of thing, and they bring it in for breeding, and it turns out that just a generation ago it came from a game bred line. And that's how that can sort of leak through the entire breed. And that's your problem, okay? So there are good pit bulls out over there, but there are a lot of them which have this genetic predisposition toward aggression, and it's being fostered. You've got lots of guys out over there protecting their drug stash or trying to look tough and that sort of thing. So, for example, the rapper DMZ had an album called Grand Champion, and it was all about fighting dogs. And Ice-T had a song in which he talked about he has a pit bull named Felony. So,
okay. Yeah, they're glorifying the whole machismo thing through pit bull fighting and dog fighting. But, it seems to me that there are worse dogs out there. Like when I go on a training lesson and I'm facing a cane Corso or Dogo Argentino and it's bitten somebody and they're calling me in because the dog's been aggressive and it's like 2 pit bulls in size and weight, same shape, same head, same everything. I don't think I'm somehow safer than with a pit that I go train. Oh, Should I?
No. There are aggressive breeds over there, and you've named 2 of them: the Cane Corso, the Dogo Argentine, the Brazil Filiario.
I've not had the pleasure yet on that one. I'm sure it's coming soon because people get these dogs and they don't know what they've got. And they don't give it enough training when it's an adolescent and a sweetie. And all of a sudden it becomes the full adult version. And it's had no guidance. It's not coming. It's not listening. It doesn't have manners. It doesn't know who to trust, who not to trust. And now it starts making those calls itself. And that's when they pick up the phone and call me after it's terrorized the neighbor against a fence or something. Yeah, I just wish they'd call me when it was 6 months old and 90 pounds, right?
Yeah,
it's still workable, though.
Some of these dogs, if you take the combination of the genetic predisposition and the lack of training, you can turn them into a surface-to-surface missile. Now, the thing about this is, and the thing which scares politicians is the data. You see, there is no requirement that dog bites be registered in national registries. So instead, however, there is a requirement, at least in the States, that any fatalities associated with dog bites are registered. Now, there are not a bunch of these things, okay? There are between 14 and 18 per year in the States. So looking at it sort of comparatively, you're 7 times more likely to be killed by being struck by lightning. But nonetheless, these statistics have been kept since the early 1990s. And so we've got 25 or more years of data. And when you break it down by breeds, you find that the number of dog bite fatalities racked up to pit bulls is in excess of 46%. Now, that is for a breed of dog who accounts for maybe 0.5%, or some people say that they're under-registered, so maybe 1%. So
it's not like they're overrepresented like poodles or cockers in every house. No, they're not. No, I see what you're saying. They shouldn't be ranking up there.
That's right. In other words, this is 50 to 100 times more higher rate of fatalities than you'd expect based on their statistical numbers themselves. And that's scary. And if you look at a dog breed like the Golden Retriever, okay, Golden Retrievers outweigh Pit Bulls. They're bigger dogs. And we have 40 or 50 times more Golden Retrievers out over there than we have Pit Bulls. And yet you never hear, newspaper reports that, a child was killed by a marauding band of Golden Retrievers.
Drugs seized at warehouse guarded by Golden Retrievers.
Exactly.
Yeah, bad move, everybody. Wrong choice. Okay, well, we have to go to a commercial break. Before we do, though, I do want to say that I have met Goldens who bite, and I have met Goldens who are maybe not so tolerant with children anymore. So you do have to make sure when you approach a dog you don't know, even if it's a Golden Retriever, you talk to the owner first, and you do have to make sure that you know the dog you're dealing with. And as they age, you make sure they're not in any pain, because if you step on them when they're sleeping, well, something might happen. But I do appreciate what you're talking about there. And Goldens and Pit Bulls are definitely not the same. I breed standard poodles and Golden Doodles, so the idea of one of my mama poodles or mama Goldens killing her own offspring it's just completely impossible. It's just not even, it's not possible. And so, like, that's how apples and oranges, we're talking about the different breeds. But I do want to come back because we've kind of shed some shade. We put some shade on the Pitbulls, and I think that that's not quite fair. So we're going to come back and redress that. There are good Pitbulls out there, and we're going to talk about that with Dr. Stan Coren, my guest. I'm Deb Wolf, and you're listening to Animal Party on Pet Life Radio. Stay tuned.
Don't leave this party before it's over, because the best is yet to come. Only losers leave the party early anyway. Party on. Back in a few.
Put a puppy under the Christmas tree. Wait, you read it, not feed it. It's The Dog with the Opposable Thumb, an accidental love story. The fun new book by award-winning author Mark Barkowitz. When an accidentally DNA-altered puppy is born with a thumb, his lovelorn grad student caretaker devises a strategy to achieve their Kardashian-like fame and fortune. It's funny, intelligent, and incredibly unique. And 20% of book sales benefit the Pasadena Humane Society and SPCA. The Dog with the Opposable Thumb is available now through Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and MarkBark.org. Thumbs up to a howling fun book for the holidays. The Dog with the Opposable Thumb. Order yours now.
It's DesignerPetSweaters.com. Hand-knitted designer sweaters for your precious pup or cool cat. Beautiful couture patterns for your pets, including custom-knitted formal wear, casual wear, yachting, and even sports-themed. Many designer pet sweaters include feathered tammy hats, top hats, and a lot of sparkle. Each sweater includes leg loops, front paw sleeves, and leash opening. Visit DesignerPetSweaters.com to order your four-legged fashions today. Your pets will stay warm for the winter and be runway ready. Large or small, we fit them all. DesignerPetSweaters.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
You're inside the VIP room
with the hottest party in town.
Back to the party.
Let's go!
Hello, you're listening to Animal Party on Pet Life Radio. And we've got Pitbulls at this party. They're the ones that weren't bred for game. They weren't bred to fight. Okay, so Dr. Coren, how do we know if someone loves Pitbulls and wants a Pitbull or comes across a mutt at the pound and they want to adopt it and it's part Pitbull? Do you just go the same way you've told me years ago when you look at a mutt, what you see is what you get? You know, if you look at a mutt and he swims and he loves everybody and he looks like a lab, well, he is a lab. Go with that. Is that what we do if you meet a pit bull cross and he seems really chill and mellow with all the other dogs and he likes people? Have you got a good one then?
Well, I mean, you have to be careful. That's the whole problem. I mean, if you're looking for a purebred dog, you know, you can go to one of the kennels which has kept itself free from game breeding for a number of generations, and that's a pretty safe bet in this sort of thing. When you're trying to pick a dog out of the kennel, that's a little bit harder, okay? You're better off if the dog is younger because, you know, it's less likely to have had the time to accrue some sort of family history or some sort of abusive history in this case. But the one thing you have to be very, very careful about is if the people at the shelter have any evidence at all of aggression on the part of the dog, avoid it, okay? Because it's very often triggered by excitement. It's triggered by a sudden event occurring near the dog. So if it has happened once, then it's likely to happen again. I can give you an example. We were talking about Staffies a moment ago.
Yeah.
I know a gal who has had Staffies for much of her life, and she has trained them for obedience competition. And one of them went on to become the third highest scoring dog in Canada overall, which is remarkable for the breed. Anyway, she had a Staffy, a male from a kennel, which supposedly was a good line. And the dog was a bit chippy, but not much more than some of the other dogs. And then one day she fell. And that falling down near the dog was enough to trigger the aggressive responses in the dog, and the dog savaged her.
No, her own dog attacked her? That's what you're saying?
Her own dog attacked her. And remember, this is a gal who had a lifelong experience training dogs, especially training terriers. So,
no. Is she all right now?
Oh, yeah, she's all right now, but, she was messed up for a while. So this is one of the problems. So if there is any chippiness in the dog whatsoever, and it's one of the bully breeds, I would stay away from it. Now, there are dogs which get thrown into the pit bull category, which probably shouldn't be there. So the bull terrier, that the dog with the
the hockey dog, the little stubby dog with a pointy face, looks like a doorstop.
That's right, with the triangular shaped eyes and that sort of thing. And it looks mean as hell, but actually they are not people aggressive at all. So they may be a bit snarly around other dogs, but they are really not people aggressive. So, but they get thrown in with the other pit bull breeds because it's called the bull terrier. So.
What about Rotties? Because I think they're often thrown in this group, and I really love and trust Rotties. I have never had issues with Rotties.
Well, Rotties are overrepresented in the hard bite statistics, but not to the same degree. And for Rotties, it does not seem to be a genetic predisposition. It seems to be training.
It's the owner. It's the owner. I know it. Because I've never seen something so nurturing as a Rottie mom. The females and the way they are with cats and little creatures and things like this. I mean, it's got to be the owners when it comes to them.
Well, and Rotties are sort of traditionally used by many people as guard dogs, so they are trained to sort of have, that aggressive, suspicious nature. Do you know that in New York, in the barrio, in the Hispanic region, there's a company called Rent a Rottie, and people can go down over there and rent a Rottweiler. The dog comes with a big, chain-looking,
studded collar, etc.
And that's what the dogs are completely obedience trained, and so the guys can strut around the barrio in their body shirts and look really tough over the weekend, and then return the dog, on Monday.
Oh my God! Okay, so all right, so there's probably people out there thinking, well, if a good deal of the pit bulls are damaged because of the breeding intentionally to make them fighting dogs, and there's leakage into the main population, then, maybe it'd just be safer to ban them all. But it seems to me when bans happen, they don't really work because only the good players, the decent people, obey. So the bad apples still keep going. And I think they look for worse dogs, like these dogs I was talking about. If you can't own a pit bull to guard or to fight or to guard your illegal stash of whatever, why wouldn't you get a Dogo Argentino? Why wouldn't you get a cane Corso? I mean, it makes sense to me. If I was living in the woods somewhere and it after Armageddon and I had to protect my resources, okay, maybe I'd get one too, but that's not the world we live in. I'm just wondering, do breed bans ever work?
No, that's the real problem. Let me give you some statistics, okay? Italy and Denmark both had breed-specific bans. Both of them have rescinded that legislation. In Italy, the problem was, which dogs got listed on the breed ban. And they put some criterion that if they had, 3 hospital-reported bites from a given breed, that breed got listed. Well, by the time you were done, you had Irish setters on the banned list.
Yeah, like the insurance list, right? There's Labrador retrievers on the list of dogs they won't insure your house if you have one because it might bite one. It's like, what?
Yes,
come on.
So Italy abandoned it for that reason, and Denmark for a similar reason, that it was simply not working. In Canada, for example, both Vancouver and Edmonton had breed-specific bans, and they both rescinded that legislation. It wasn't working. There was a study which was done which looked at 36 municipalities which had banned various dog breeds and compared them to municipalities which did not have breed bans, and they found absolutely no difference whatsoever in the rate of dog bites. And finally, in Toronto, instituted Ontario instituted a ban on the bully breeds, and they have had no reduction whatsoever in terms of dog bites. And part of the reason is what you said, which is, the the nasty guys, okay, the ones who have tattoos on their tattoos, want a tough dog to be a guard dog. If they can't have a pit bull, then they will have a Rottie. If they can't have a Rottie, then they will have a Miramana, or they will have a Great Pyrenees, or they will have whatever dog, or an Akita, and they will have whatever dog they can coax the aggressive response out of. And
find a breeder to breed a mean one too, right? Find a breeder to breed a mean one, and then train it to be as mean as it can be. And bad, but bigger, fiercer.
And they will often, veer toward dogs which look traditionally tough. So dogs like German Shepherds and Malinois and that sort of thing, because they're associated with sort of police work and have a certain look. And part of the whole thing is, if you're protecting your illicit gear, then, you want a dog which is going to frighten other people away. Now, you are right that we are now beginning to see more dogs like the Dogo Argentine and the Canet Corso and the Neapolitan Mastiff. And, these are tough dogs. Really,
really tough compared to Pitbulls. Just the strength and size. I mean, these are 120-pound dogs, right? This is not your 60-pound Pitbull.
And there were also dogs which were designed to be herd guarding dogs. And dogs which are designed to guard a herd are basically suspicious in nature and, can be provoked into aggression. So you can take that sort of thing and you can start to make it suspicious of people, and you can start to make it have a hair trigger and pop off with an aggressive response quickly. And so that's one of the reasons why the breed bans don't work. But there's something much more positive involved over here. So let's just sort of flip back sort of 2 steps. There is a way to cut down on the dog bite statistics. The very first thing is that the American Association of Animal Hospitals, about 20 years ago, so it's a long time ago before this thing had really boiled up, ran a study in which they found that if a dog has had a basic dog obedience class, we're talking about the one where the dogs,
the puppy class. I love it. Yes.
Well, the sort of thing where the dogs stand around the circle and you teach Lassie how to sit and lay down on command.
Sit, heel, get along with the other students, not freak out or overreact or play nonstop to the owner in the group. Exactly.
And it's these sort of 7 or 8 week, long courses, and nothing super sexy involved here. And they find, and I'm rounding the statistics over here, but they find that a dog who has had that kind of training, that minimal amount of training, is 90% less likely to be involved in a serious biting incident. Okay, that little bit of effort. Now, there's a second part to this. The most frequent target for dog bites are kids.
Yeah.
And so
it's that 7 to 9-year-old boy range, 7 to 11 maybe. That seems to be the.
No, the toddlers are also targeted.
Oh, are they? Yeah.
Because they look like crippled animals and they make the odd squealing sounds.
That's true.
Anyway, it turns out that there is a very simple dog bite prevention technique that you can teach these kids. Okay, we ran a study in Vancouver. It lasted about 3 years, in which I would go into a 3rd grade classroom, and I bring one of my dogs and a bunch of pictures, and we teach the kids what the basic signals were on the dog, which meant that the dog should not be approached, but also what to do if a dog was threatening them. And we used a technique which was developed by the gals at the Doggone Safe website. And it's very simple. It's called Be a Tree. So what the the kids are taught to do is to stand still like a tree and fold your branches so they fold their hands in front of them and stare at your roots. In other words, they look at their feet. Now, the whole business about this is you're cutting out the three major triggers. If dogs have a prey drive, so if something runs, they'll chase it. So a tree is not running, so you've taken that out. The second thing is dogs view our hands as potential mouths, which grab at them and that sort of thing. So we've just folded those mouths away by folding the arms. And then you have them stare at their feet because staring a dog in the eyes is taken as a threat. So that's the simple technique which you teach them. Now, in our studies, we found, and again, this was not done as scientifically as I would have liked it because we had to rely on the teachers taking the follow-up measures. But in any event, we found that the kids who took this, it's roughly a 1-hour course, had an 80% reduced likelihood of being bitten. And furthermore, we had chosen the third graders, who are about 9 years old, to be for a very specific reason. That is because they're verbal enough so that they can talk to other kids. And so we found that there was, roughly speaking, a 60% reduction in dog bites for their siblings, for their brothers and sisters.
That's amazing.
Because they would say, if the kid was doing the wrong thing, no, don't do that, my teacher says. So you take those two things. You train the kids, tiny little bit of educational time on this dog bite prevention technique. You train the dogs for just a basic dog obedience course, and you've reduced the number of dog bites by 95%.
We've got to go to commercial. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about this, but I just want to tell you people, it is so easy to find a puppy class. I stopped doing them because they're just so available everywhere. They're available at chain stores. They're available at community centers. They're available in parks. They're just open your eyes. You can enroll your dog, and they're not expensive. It works out to about $5 or $10 a session, not even. And it's you can bring your kids, get everybody involved in puppy class. It's so much fun. And if you can't afford it, then maybe you shouldn't be getting a puppy. Maybe you should get a dog that's already trained. Okay, so listen up. We're going to break, but we'll be back at our party. And I'm going to tell a story about a pit bull cross that a really nice dog that had some really bad luck with where it moved and what ensued after that. And then we're going to talk about kissy face spaniels because I promised Dr. Coren. So stay tuned at Animal Party Pet Life Radio.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.